Hello everyone, this is Dave from Dave's Recent Things. We are smack dab in the middle, maybe towards the end of the DIY Christmas season here on YouTube. I'm still going to continue with the Christmas DIYs because I have a lot of ideas. I don't know if I can get to all of those ideas, but I'm going to try. Today, one of my ideas was to use the Dollar Tree square wreath frame to show you 3 different ways to decorate that for Christmas. Why don't I just get started and I'll show you what I made. Here's the star of today's video, our square wreath frame, and today I'm using 5.5-inch Berlin garland in green and in red. Also, I'm just doing a natural color one, along with 2.5-inch wired ribbon. This is a black and white checkered ribbon that I'm going to be using, a pipe cleaner to create our bow, a stapler, yes, a stapler, and of course, my regular crafting utensils to create this wreath today. I am starting off with the natural burlap. This again is a 5-inch width garland, and I just got that at the Dollarama, and all I'm doing is I'm putting a little hot glue down, and then I'm going to roll it all the way around. And for the square wreath frame, it's a little tricky to get around those corners, so I just use a little glue to help me out and keep that ribbon right in place, fold it over a little bit, and then just continue my wrapping. Once that's done, I'm going to lay a little hot glue down, trim it, and then I'm just going to use my little tool to glue that all together, and we have our base wreath all created nice and quick. And to create the little attachments, I am going to be cutting my pieces at 5 inches. So my garland is 5 inches in width, and I'm going to create 5-inch length. So I'm going to end up with a 5 by 5 square once I'm done cutting these. So I am cutting the green, and I'm also cutting the red in those 5-inch increments to create that 5 by 5 square. And for each color, I am doing 30. So it's a total of 60. And to create our little attachment, I'm going to take the top corner, bring it right down to the bottom, hold it with my thumb. Now I'm going to bring that point of the triangle all the way to where my thumb is at the bottom point. Then we're going to flip it over, and I'm going to do the exact same thing again, bringing that point right down to where my thumb is at the bottom. And we create a kind of like a little parachute shape, if you will. It's like a little bundle. And then I'm going to take my stapler, and I'm just going to staple that together. And there we go. We've created our first little bundle. Again, we're just going to take that square, put it on a diagonal so it creates a little diamond shape. That top point meets the bottom point, and we've created a beautiful triangle here. We take the right-hand side point, bring it to our thumb, so right down to that bottom point. Then we're just going to flip it over, bring that right point right down to the thumb once again, and that creates our little parachute shape. Then I'm going to bring my stapler in, and I'm just going to staple all those pieces together to hold it together, and we've created another little bundle. So I'm going to do this over and over and over and over again, creating 60 pieces. So it's 30 pieces per color. So I'm using green and red, and you can see I have them all around me. And to start off, I'm just going to start off in the bottom right hand corner, add some glue, and then I'm just going to hold that right down in place until it semi-dries, and then I'm going to alternate colors. So again, I'm using the green, I'm using the red, and I'm just going to alternate colors as I go all down the side. And I'm just gluing these in place. I'm holding them there for a little bit, and once I get to a corner again, I'm just going to cover that corner and keep continuing until I'm almost done. And look at this so far. Oh my goodness, I am in love with how this turned out. The red and the green burlap mixed together with our little parachute attachments. So now we're going to create my bow, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these at the 22-inch mark. So here you see I measured out 22 inches. I'm going to make my cut with my first ribbon, and I'm going to make my cut with my second ribbon as well at the 22 inches. So ribbon number 1, I'm going to be doing 3 pieces at 22 inches. My second ribbon, which is ribbon number 2, I'm going to do 2 pieces at 22 inches, and that is our ribbon lengths for this bow. Once I'm done that, I'm going to place the good side facing down, fold over that ribbon so I have the cut end hitting the 7-inch mark on my ruler, and I line up the left-hand side to the 0 mark. I'm going to come in at the 6 inches, squish it all together with my fingers, and then I'm going to place it in between my piece fingers, creating a tail at the bottom and then a loop at the top. And I'm just going to alternate between my ribbons. Again, I'm folding it over until that cut end hits the 7-inch mark, come over to the 6-inch mark, squish it together with my fingers, and then I'm going to place it in between my piece fingers, just holding it there. Again, loop at the top, tail at the bottom, and then I just repeat that for all of my ribbon. I have 5 ribbon cut, and I'm just going to do the exact same method for all 5 pieces. Once we have that all done, we grab our pipe cleaner, fold it in half, and then we're just going to attach it around, twist it a couple of times, just making sure all of our ribbons are enclosed in our pipe cleaner. I'm going to dovetail the ends of our tails just to add a little oomph and a little pizzazz to our bow, and then I'm going to spread out my tails a little bit and bring those pipe cleaners together, and maybe do a little fluffing while I'm here. Why not? This is Dave's Wreaths and things. We love to fluff, so let's fluff up that bow. And here's our bow ready for our wreath. Speaking of our wreath, let's bring that back. Now, with the square wreath, I love it because it's truly versatile. You can have it square, and I mean, you could put the bow anywhere you want either. You could do it in the corner, in the middle, at the side, at the bottom, or even after you attach the bow, you can totally turn it around anyways, or you could turn your wreath into a diamond shape, have your bow at the left, at the right, at the top, at the bottom, wherever you want. I decided to just put my bow right here, kitty corner, and I'm just going to attach that on there with that ribbon, twist it around nice and tight, and once I'm done, I'm just going to start fluffing up that bow. And look, another corner. You could just totally change this around however you want. The top left, the top right, the bottom left, the bottom right, diamond shape. A hugely versatile wreath, and that's why I love using these square wreath frames. Just gorgeous. And here is our final result with our red and that green burlap, creating this beautiful burlap wreath along with our 2 ribbon bow, just in all of its glory. I just love how this turned out. And again, the star of the show is that square wreath frame you're using today, and these gray, white, and burgundy 2.5-inch wired ribbon along with solid white wired ribbon, and this Merry Christmas Dollar Tree ribbon. Now, you can use any ribbon you want. This is a pipe cleaner to make our bow again, and my regular crafting utensils to create this wreath. I am starting off again doing the same thing we did with the burlap wreath. I'm applying a little hot glue at the very end of the ribbon, folding it over into itself, and then I'm just going to wrap that ribbon all the way around. When I come to the end, I just cut off the excess, add some glue right down, and then I just fold it over into itself, wait a little bit for it to dry, then I flip it over and we have our base wreath ready for our ribbon today. And for our ribbon wreath, I am using this 2.5-inch wired ribbon, and I'm cutting them at 8 inches. So all of my cuts today for all of my ribbon minus the bow is going to be at the 8-inch mark. So here I have a little snowflake pattern, I have a little holly pattern, and I have a little Christmas tree pattern, and I'm cutting all these pieces into 8-inch strips. So here we go. I have 3 types of ribbons. You can use as many as you want. All of them cut at 8 inches, and I have a total of 24 lengths at 8 inches. So you can use 1 ribbon, 2 ribbon, 3 ribbon, 4 ribbon, as many as you want. And to create our little ribbon attachment, all I'm going to do is I'm going to make a teardrop shape with my ribbon, add a little hot glue at that one end, and you can see we've created that teardrop shape. And if you don't want to use hot glue, you can totally use your stapler, staple that one end. It attaches just as well as hot glue. And I mean, I use both the stapler and the hot glue. Neither one is better, neither one is worse. It's just a different way of doing it. And to start off, I am going to start at the bottom right-hand corner. I'm going to try to place my ribbon such that it's covering that Merry Christmas ribbon. Now, if you want, you can totally use the same ribbon that you are decorating it with to use as that base. I didn't mind using the Merry Christmas ribbon because the ribbon that I'm going to place over it is going to cover it anyways. I just wanted something extra to glue my ribbon onto it. So I just add a little bit of hot glue right at the end, and with this I do hold it in place just to make sure it stays down and it doesn't come up. And once that glue's dry, I just go on to the next one, adding my ribbon one right after the other. And I add 7 ribbon teardrops per side. So once I get to the end, I'm going to change direction and I'm going to add my next piece. And I do have a pattern that I follow. I use the snowflakes, then I use the berry ribbon, the Christmas tree, snowflakes, berry ribbon, Christmas tree, snowflakes, berry ribbon. So I go following that pattern all the way around. And like I said, I'm doing 7 teardrops per side, and then I just switch directions, and adding my last piece, I fold it under the very first piece that I attached on there. And once that's done, I have my ribbon base all ready to go, all ready to make my bow to attach on that wreath. Look how beautiful these colors are. I just was smiling the whole time I made this wreath. And for my bow, this is the white color, and I'm going to be cutting the white at the 20-inch mark. And I am cutting 5 pieces of the white 2.5-inch wired ribbon. And for all the other ribbons, I'm cutting 1 piece at the 18-inch mark. So all the other ribbons, which the 3 in total, I am cutting at 18 inches. So in total, I have the ribbon number 1, there's 5 pieces at 20 inches. Ribbon number 2, 3, and 4, 1 piece at 18 inches. So it's a total of 8 pieces of ribbon that I'm using. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to fold that ribbon just a little bit down past halfway. It's the same process we did before our little bundle bow. This is a little different. I didn't use a ruler. I'm just using my eye, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I'm starting with a couple of my solid white ribbons, seeing if they're the same size, squishing them in the middle, and then putting them in between my piece fingers. And then I'm going to add those different pattern gray, white, and burgundy ribbons using the same process. So my idea for this is kind of having the outside white with the inside being a couple of those gray ribbons, such that the ribbons aren't too much in our bow. So the white's there to kind of balance everything out. It's nice to have patterns, and it's also nice to have solids as well. Once that's all done, the same thing, grab that pipe cleaner, wrap it right around that bow, making sure all of your tails are intact. And then I am going to use my scissors to create dovetails and just to finish off those tails a little bit. And here is our little bundle bow. And to attach it, all I'm going to do is wrap it around the frame, but first I'm actually going to add some ribbon on there. So I had some extra ribbon left over, and I'm just going to add additional tails. I'm going to dovetail the tails at the end, and then I'm just going to use hot glue to glue it down where I want my bow, just to add a little bit more to the center of this wreath. I just wanted a little bit more pizzazz there. And then, of course, like I said earlier, I'm just going to wrap that pipe cleaner around my wreath frame, attaching my bow. And then once it's on there, I'm actually just going to fluff it up just a little bit, move those tails around. And then I thought it just needed a little something more. So I had these white and silver glittery styrofoam balls. I just got these at the Dollar Tree. I had them laying around, and I thought they would be kind of nice right in the center and then kind of cascading down the ribbon. So I've attached it to the center of my bow, and then on a couple of those tails as well. And then in the end, I decided to add some tails right in the center with the white ribbon. And here's our cascading silver and white glitter balls, our beautiful gray, white, and burgundy ribbon wreath base. Say that 10 times fast. But there is our second square wreath, decorated and ready for our Christmas. Our final one, the star of the show, that square wreath frame, and I'm using some of this beige chunky yarn. It is so soft, I love it, along with some Christmas ornaments. I'm using 2.5-inch wired ribbon again, and a pipe cleaner to create this project. I am starting off with the outside wire, and I'm just adding some hot glue down, and then I'm just going to add on top of that the chunky yarn. Nice and simple, just follow the wreath frame, adding that ribbon, or not the ribbon, sorry, the yarn on top, and then I just keep going all the way around the edge, doing the exact same thing, following that wire all the way around the edge. So we've got our border. Once that's in place, I'm just going to cut off the excess, and I'm just going to fold it into itself. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on that middle wire, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I'm laying that hot glue down. Then I'm taking the yarn, laying it right on top of that hot glue, making sure it's nice and secure. And I do maybe 1 or 2 sections at a time. The glue tends to dry very, very quickly, so I don't want to miss that. And then to fill in the rest of our wreath, I'm just applying glue at the top and the bottom of that first and second row and attaching that yarn right in between, and that's going to create a nice full wreath. And I just squish it together every now and then and make sure that that is all nice and connected with that hot glue. Then I have one last round to do right towards the center, and I just do the exact same thing all the way around. And once I'm done with that, I just cut off the excess, and I have my base all ready to go to decorate. And this is just a really simple, easy way to decorate a wreath. No deco mesh, no ribbon, just nice, simple, and easy. And it was so fluffy and soft. I loved how it turned out. It's very bohemian too. And again, I'm going to create a ribbon, and I am cutting this ribbon at the 20-inch mark as well, and going to dovetail. And like we did before, this is a bundle bow, so the good side facing down. Make sure that good side faces down. Otherwise, if you fold it over with the good side facing up, your good side will be on the inside of your loops. So again, we're matching up the end to 0 and the cut end at 7. We're going to zip on over to that 6-inch mark, and we're going to squish it together and placing it in between my peace fingers. Now, you can always change the size of your ribbon. If you want a 5-inch ribbon, if you want an 8-inch length loop, that is totally up to you. I like the look of measuring at the 7-inch mark and coming in at the 6, which is your 6-inch loop. But if you want to change that up, you are more than welcome to. Once we're done that, we're going to tie it all together with our handy dandy pipe cleaners. Love using these. They're so versatile. And then what I usually do is I kind of fluff up those tails, make sure they're laying face up, and then I just take my pipe cleaners and I move them where I want to attach the wreath. And then, of course, you know me, I like to fluff my bows. Here is our wreath back again, and what I wanted to do was have ribbon cascading down 2 of the sides. So I am just kind of measuring, eyeballing, and if you want to know, these actually came in at 20 inches. So the lengths that I'm cutting for the sides are 20 inches, and I'm going to cut 2 of those. Once that's all done, I'm going to dovetail the ends, just kind of pretty it up a little bit, and I'm just going to do one end for this. Once that's done, I'm going to glue down the one side. I kind of figured out where I'm going to put my bow already, so then I glue down the other side as well. This just using hot glue, making sure it's all nice and dry, and once it is dry, I'm going to attach our bow using our pipe cleaners once again. So you just wrap that around the wreath frame, flip it over, and then twist tie those bows together, and look at that. For this one, I decided to use a little hot glue, and I'm using the hot glue right at the attachment point as well, just so it doesn't come apart on me. And then there we go, we have that. And now I want to fix up those cascading ribbons, and I want to hold them in place with just a little bit of hot glue. And I'm just folding it over, kind of making a little wave with that ribbon. Just add a little interest to it, a little depth. And I do the exact same thing on the other side as well. And this ribbon just looks so beautiful with this yarn. I love how the red kind of pops with that beige color in the background. And to finish it all off, add a little sparkle to it, I'm going to add 3 ornaments. One is not so glittery and the other 2 are very glittery. So we get a beautiful pop of glitter and color and sparkle as well. And this cascading bow with the tails coming down. Our beige yarn really shines with this wreath, and of course the focal point being that beautiful big bow with those ornaments in the center. Let's not forget DIY number 1 with that red and green beautiful pattern of our burlap wreath and our plaid and checkered bow, which just absolutely screams classic Christmas to me, and I love using burlap. And our DIY wreath number 2, our silver, gray, and burgundy with those cascading glitter balls right at the center, and that large bow with those beautiful tails hanging down the center. I love how these teardrop ribbon attachments looked. I just had so much fun making this. And of course, our DIY number 3, our yarn and bow Christmas wreath. Thank you so much for watching today and joining me. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I upload a new project. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye for now.